Good morning and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Maisy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Maisy's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the corrections and motivations we give her while we're working with her, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. Correction that we give is a tug and let go to the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Maisy's been fitted with her own personal training collar, and we'll show you how to properly use this during your one-on-one lesson. As you can see, Maisy is seated on Fred's left, which is where all our obedience training is done. The first command they'll demonstrate is heeling, which is proper walking on a leash. And Fred and Maisy take off doing that now. The command you want to use for this is Maisy heel, and then you just start walking and she'll fall right in line on your left-hand side. We've also gone ahead and incorporated our automatic sit into this, so anytime Fred stops his feet, Maisy will sit. There's an example of the sit there. Now it's important when you're heeling Maisy that she walks nicely on your left-hand side without trying to pull ahead of you or lag behind. If she did attempt this, you say no, give a tug and let go correction to her training collar, repeat the command to heel, and then start walking again. Now the next command they'll demonstrate is our stay command, which is a hand and voice command. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm, an inch or so from Maisy's muzzle, and the one-word command to stay. He then walks out to the end of the training leash.
No, stay.
Now there she started to break it, so he said no and repeated the command. It's a good exercise to build up self-control in Maisy. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time and work your way up in increments until you get to about 3 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to her, he's going to walk all the way around her, providing an added distraction as he goes behind, and right back to that left-hand side heel position.
Maisy.
She holds that sit stay throughout. He gives her some praise and then heels her right out of it. And I'll show you a little more of the heel sit and stay. As they heel around, he stops his feet and Maisy sits. And then as he comes back up, he'll show you the stay again in a second.
Stay.
He gives her the stay. Again, that's hand right in front of her face and the word stay. Out to the end of the leash. And this time he gives her a second to hold it, and then he'll demonstrate our come or recall command instead of returning back to her.
Maisy, come. Good girl.
He calls her in using her name. She gets up, comes right into him, sits in front. Then we have an exercise called the finish. Fred's going to heel her right around the back of him and gets her right back to that proper left-hand side heel position. And then she sits. He'll demonstrate it one more time. She's in a sit, he gives her the stay, out to the end of the leash, gives her a second to hold it,
Maisy, come.
and then calls her in right by her name, gets up, comes in, sits in front, and then the finish, he heels her right around the back of him, then right back to that left-hand side heel position, and she'll sit. Nicely done. Now it's a good time to remind you want to practice all your commands with Maisy, about 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can practice inside or outside your home and just incorporate the commands into your daily routine with her. Next up will be our down commands. First one will be down from a heel position. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm straight down to the ground and the one-word firm command to down. He then gives her a stay and walks out to the end of the training leash. It's another great exercise to build up that self-control. You can start this one at a time increment of about 3 minutes and work your way up in those increments until you get to about 5 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to Maisy, he's going to walk all the way around just as he did on the sit stay. And right back to that left-hand side heel position. She holds that down throughout. He gives her some praise and then heels her right out of it. And he'll show you that down again when she comes back around. Now you see Maisy's doing very well, but it's always important to follow through with your commands. So if you give her a command and she does not respond, or she breaks one of her stays, you always want to say no first, give a tug and let go correction to the training collar, and then repeat the command you'd given her. And there Fred shows you the down again. And a stay, back out to the end of the training leash. This time he'll give her a second to hold it, and he'll demonstrate that comma recall command again, right out of the down this time.
Maisy, come.
Calls her in using her name. She gets right up, comes into him, sits down. And then the finish one more time, he's going to heel her right around the back of him and right back to that left-hand side heel position. And she sits. Very nice. All right, we'll give them a second to get lined up for our final command, which will be down from a distance. This will be the down from a distance. You're going to have her in a sit, give her a stay, walk out to the end of your training leash. This is the only time you use your right hand to give the command, and Fred will drop her into a down from the end of the training leash.
Down. No.
He then returns back to her once again by walking all the way around and right back to that left-hand side heel position.
Maisy.
Alright, we've demonstrated for you our basic obedience commands that we've been working on with Maisy while she's been here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Maisy, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.